Good day everyone, this is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it is Thursday the 12th of December 2019, and it's just after 11 a.m. in Singapore, and it's a daily analysis for Euro, Cable and the Aussie dollar. Let's begin with the Euro, and with the FOMC rate decision early this morning, the Euro has climbed up and capitalized on a weaker US dollar and managed to hit the upper channel trend line, and this morning is starting to creep up higher as well. And this was a bounce from the this was the 10 SMA, and as a punch through this 111 resistance zone and also through the weekly R1 pivot level. So now it could try to target this previous swing low area at 111.61, along with the daily 200 EMA at 111.64, and just above that was previous resistance, a strong resistance level at the weekly R2 pivot level at 111.73. So it could mark this zone as the next key resistance zone. Let's switch to the 4-hour time frame. And after forming a hammer just above the 55 period EMA, that's when the Euro started to creep up, and this was the 4-hour candle that the Fed's decision was released, and that's where it punched through the 111 resistance level. Let's take a look on the 1-hour time frame, and you can see this was the time. This is at the server time of 2100, so that's at converted to Singapore time, that's at 3 a.m. 3 to 4 a.m. candle, and it reached the daily R3 pivot 111.41. Right, climb all the way up to the daily R3 and pull back, and now it's trying to retest the high of early this morning at 111.45. Going back to the 4-hour time frame, so this is the next key resistance zone from the 111.62 to the 111.73 area. So we'll see whether it's able to reach that level, but watch out, once it does, then there could be a reversal or rollover, and we'll see whether there's what the price action is at this area. So for now, the intermediate support is going to be at this level at the weekly R1 pivot, along with the 21 fib retracement area. And this is now turned into a support zone. Right, so this break out of the slightly bullish channel, it's possible it could extend, but then it's got to pull back to retest this upper trend line for another bounce, and then we'll see what the reaction is here at this resistance zone. Alright, let's switch to the cable, and the sterling did hit the 132.00 resistance zone earlier on the Wednesday, on a Tuesday and quickly pulled back and continued lower to find support at a 138 extension level, which it didn't go down further down to the weekly pivot as what I would prefer, but this is a good enough level to find support, and that's where it found support and bounced, trying to target the weekly R1 pivot. It's already hit the 132 level again because of the Fed decision, and now coming up is the UK elections starting later today, but the results will only start to roll out early Friday morning in Singapore. So the polls will close at 6 a.m. Singapore time. That's 10 p.m. GMT in the UK, and results could possibly start streaming out by 11, possibly 11 a.m. Singapore time. So you'll see what direction is, and if it's still a conservative majority as what the poll suggested, then there's a possible major boost for the cable, and we could expect it to climb up to the weekly R2 pivot level at the 133.40 area, along with the weekly 200 EMA, which is at 133.50, and if there's still strong momentum, then there's the 262 fib extension at the 134 round figure level. Okay, so this is the optimistic target area. Let's move back to the 4-hour time frame, and it has climbed through, pushed through the 132 intermediate zone. That could be a support for now, and a couple of key target levels. Weekly R2 at the 133.37 to 40 area. Currently is trying to approach the 200 fib extension at 132.57, just above the weekly R1 at 132.37. Right, so at the moment it is bullish in the short term, but look for pullbacks and for better entry at a better value. So I would look for a retest of this 132 zone. Let's go back to the daily time frame. All right, so that's where the potential moves could be. Now, if there's also the ECB rate decision coming up, so that will impact the euro, and not too much on the cable, as I don't think the ECB is making any major changes or announcing any major policy changes. All right, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. And the Aussie dollar has also found support and took advantage of the weaker dollar and climbed all the way from the 68 support level and already starting to approach the 69 resistance level here, and it's already creeping up above the weekly R1 pivot at 0.6882, and it's already gone through this resistance zone, so we can mark this as a support area now. Let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame. And even prior to the Fed announcement, it had already started to find support and climb up from the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot from this key support zone or intermediate support and resistance zone, and easily punch through the upper trend line of the triangle. So it was consolidating inside this apex, moving into the apex of a triangle, and this was actually a classic fake move down to find support from this level, and then climb back up to all the way to break through the upper trend line. So on the daily time frame, that's where it fell and then punched through, and of course it was boosted with news from the FMC, but you will see this kind of breakout every now and then with a fake move instead of a straightforward breakout. But now as it approaches the next resistance zone, do watch out with the White House announcement on the US tariffs. That's coming up on the 15th of December, so we'll see what the decision is from the White House and whether they'll impose the tariffs, and that will impact the US-China deal and the Aussie dollar, as well as other commodity pairs may be impacted as well. Right, so watch out for this critical resistance zone. If it does break out higher, there is a potential zone up here as well for between the daily 200 EMA at 0.6916 and the weekly R2 pivot level at 0.6922. So that's another potential resistance zone, and where it could form a reversal. So we have to watch out for the price action there. Alright, so a few key events coming up this last couple of days. The ECB meeting later tonight, and followed by the UK elections and the results, as well as the announcement from the White House on the US tariffs on China imports. So there's still a lot of volatility over the next couple of days. There's also retail sales figures tomorrow night. So still a lot of potential movement over this next couple of days. All right, so trade safe and have a good trading week, and cheers.